Have you ever observed that as the years pass, you find yourself visiting others less frequently? Perhaps you were once the person who always made time to stop by, attend gatherings, and remain socially active. However, at some point, you start hesitating before making plans, and those once routine visits no longer feel as essential. And you know what? That's completely okay. Today, we're going to explore 6 genuine reasons why I no longer make as many social visits. This isn't about becoming withdrawn or avoiding people. It's about recognizing how priorities shift, how relationships transform, and why it's important to be mindful of where and how you invest your time. If you've ever experienced this, but struggled to articulate why, stay with me. This will help put things into perspective. Stick around until the end, because these reasons may just help you embrace your choices with confidence and peace of mind. One of the biggest realizations as you grow older is that your energy is finite. The things that once felt easy, driving across town, engaging in long conversations, attending every event, now require more effort. It's not that you don't enjoy socializing, but you become more deliberate about how you spend your energy. You start asking yourself, who truly matters? In earlier years, socializing often meant maintaining a broad network, keeping in touch with numerous acquaintances, and attending every possible event. But gradually, your perspective changes. You begin valuing depth over breadth, prioritizing quality interactions over casual, obligatory meetings. It's no longer about simply being present everywhere. It's about being present where it truly counts. Consider the times when you've attended an event just because you felt you had to. You might have sat through conversations that didn't interest you, spent time with people who made little effort to truly know you, and returned home feeling drained rather than fulfilled. Eventually, you recognize that your time is precious, and not everyone deserves a share of it. Take Mark, for example. He used to feel guilty declining invitations. He worried that skipping a visit might make people think he didn't care. But over time, he noticed something. The people who genuinely valued him didn't need constant visits to maintain a strong connection. Instead of spreading his energy thin over the superficial interactions, he started investing in relationships that truly enriched his life. And suddenly, socializing became a source of joy rather than a draining obligation. It's not about isolating yourself. It's about making intentional choices. You don't need to be everywhere or see everyone to prove your care. Real connections aren't measured by frequency, but by authenticity, understanding, and a shared respect for each other's time and space. Another important lesson is learning that not every social interaction is worth the stress it brings. There was a time when you might have tolerated unnecessary conflicts, gossip, or negativity just to maintain relationships. But as the years go by, you realize that safeguarding your peace of mind is more valuable than preserving every connection. It's not that you don't care about people, it's that you have less patience for drama. You no longer feel the need to argue over trivial matters, revisit old conflicts, or engage in conversations that leave you feeling depleted. If spending time with certain people means enduring negativity, passive-aggressive remarks, or the same unresolved disputes, you start questioning whether it's worth it. Think about it. Have you ever walked away from a social event feeling mentally exhausted? Maybe you spent the evening listening to complaints, sitting through gossip, or enduring criticism. At some point, you come to a realization. Time wasted in stressful environments is time you will never get back. And at this stage in life, every moment is invaluable. Take Linda, for instance. She used to visit certain family members regularly despite feeling emotionally drained afterward. Every visit was filled with tension, endless arguments, and a lingering sense of unappreciation. One day, she decided she was done putting herself through that. Instead, she focused on nurturing relationships with people who made her feel valued, respected, and at peace. And for the first time in years, socializing became enjoyable again. The truth is, You have every right to protect your emotional well-being. You don't owe anyone your presence, especially when it comes at the cost of your happiness. Choosing to step away from stressful interactions isn't rudeness, it's wisdom. Because those who truly care about you will never expect you to endure negativity just to maintain a connection. If you're finding these insights helpful, let me know by commenting below. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss out on more meaningful discussions. Your support allows us to continue creating content that informs and uplifts. Now, let's move forward. There's something comforting about home. Over the years, you've created a space that is uniquely yours, a sanctuary where you can truly relax, reflect, and be yourself. As time passes, you realize that being at home feels more fulfilling than hopping from one social event to another. You're no longer drawn to being constantly on the go. Instead, you appreciate the peace and familiarity of your own surroundings. There was a time when being out and about felt exciting and necessary. Visiting friends, attending events, and staying socially engaged seemed like the best way to live a full life. But as you age, the definition of fulfillment changes. It's no longer about external validation or being seen everywhere. It's about genuine comfort and contentment. Think of James. He once loved going out, meeting people, and making the rounds. But as he got older, he started realizing that he didn't crave the same level of social interaction. Instead, he found deep joy in simple moments. Reading a book in his favorite chair, having an intimate conversation over a home-cooked meal, or just sitting in his garden, reflecting. And he didn't feel like he was missing out. He felt at peace. There's a profound satisfaction in knowing that you don't have to chase social engagements to feel fulfilled. Instead of filling up your schedule with visits and outings, you prioritize the moments and interactions that truly bring happiness. And that's not just okay. That's something to be embraced. As you age, you begin to realize that comfort becomes one of the most valuable aspects of life. The thought of getting dressed, driving across town, making small talk, and spending time in someone else's space doesn't hold the same appeal it once did. It's not about avoiding people, but about cherishing the peace and familiarity of your surroundings. In youth, there's a natural urge to always be on the move, attending social gatherings, and seeking out new experiences. But over time, you come to understand that being out and about isn't necessarily better than being home. There's something uniquely satisfying about waking up in your own bed, sipping coffee from your favorite mug, and knowing that the day will unfold exactly as you prefer. No obligations to entertain, no need to fit into someone else's schedule. Just the quiet joy of being in a space that is truly yours. For some, visiting others means stepping into environments that don't feel as inviting. Perhaps the house is noisy, the atmosphere is overwhelming, or the seating isn't as comfortable. Maybe there's a sense of unease in places that aren't familiar. As you grow older, your sense of comfort starts to outweigh social expectations, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Take Bill, for example. He used to feel guilty about declining invitations, always pushing himself to go out even when he didn't want to. But every time he visited someone, he found himself silently counting the minutes until he could leave. The noise, the distractions, the unfamiliar surroundings, it all felt exhausting. One day, he decided to stop forcing himself to go out of obligation. Instead, he began inviting people over on his own terms. Socializing became something he genuinely enjoyed, rather than something he dreaded. Home is home for a reason. It's where you feel secure, where your most cherished belongings are, and where you can move at your own pace. Choosing to spend more time at home isn't about isolation. It's about embracing the comfort you've spent years building. Another realization that naturally comes with age is that not every relationship requires constant maintenance. When you're younger, friendships often feel like a numbers game. The more people you surround yourself with, the busier your social life, the more connected you feel. But as time goes on, you understand that true fulfillment isn't about how many people are in your life, but about the depth of the relationships you nurture. Rather than socializing for the sake of it, many older adults choose to invest in fewer but more meaningful relationships. At this stage in life, there's no longer a need for superficial friendships. You're not trying to impress anyone, prove anything, or keep up with relationships that don't bring genuine joy. Those who truly matter don't require constant attention. There's a mutual understanding that connection isn't about frequency, but about sincerity. Think about the many acquaintances you've had over the years, people you spent time with out of convenience, habit, or even obligation. Now consider how many of those relationships truly added value to your life. If the answer is not many, then it makes sense why, as you get older, you stop feeling the need to maintain so many connections. The relationships that last are not the ones built on routine, but on trust, understanding, and shared appreciation. Nancy experienced this firsthand. She used to feel pressured to keep up with everyone, calling, visiting, making plans, worried that she would be forgotten if she didn't. But over time, she realized that the people who truly cared didn't need constant reminders of her presence. She shifted her focus to the friendships that felt natural, the ones where she could go weeks or even months without seeing someone and still pick up right where they left off. Her social life transformed from being an obligation into something deeply fulfilling. Choosing quality over quantity doesn't mean cutting people out or becoming isolated. It means prioritizing the relationships that uplift you and letting go of those that don't. True friendship isn't about how often you see someone, but about how meaningful your connection is when you do. As time passes, your priorities shift. Things that once seemed important, being socially active, maintaining a certain image, making sure you're always part of a group, begin to lose significance. Instead, you start focusing on what genuinely brings you peace, happiness, and fulfillment. For many seniors, this change in perspective means that visiting others out of obligation no longer feels necessary. Instead of spending time on activities that no longer serve them, they develop a greater appreciation for self-care, personal growth, and simply living in the present moment. Some find joy in reading, others in hobbies they never had time for before, and some in the simple pleasure of sitting in their favorite chair, reflecting on the life they've lived. Consider how many moments in life have been spent doing things out of habit rather than out of genuine interest. When you were younger, you may have attended gatherings or engaged in activities just because it was expected of you. But as you get older, the focus shifts to what truly enriches your life. Instead of saying yes to everything, you become more intentional with your time, choosing to engage in experiences that bring you joy rather than those that simply fill up space in your schedule. This isn't about shutting people out or withdrawing from the world. It's about recognizing the value of your time and using it in ways that genuinely serve you. It's about allowing yourself the freedom to say no to things that don't align with your well-being and embracing the things that do. Whether it's spending time with close friends, pursuing passions, or simply enjoying the quiet moments, the choices you make become more about what brings you true contentment. If you've been resonating with these thoughts, take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are you prioritizing comfort, meaningful relationships, and personal happiness? Are you spending your time in ways that genuinely fulfill you? And if you're still here finding value in these insights, let me know in the comments below. Your engagement and support help us continue bringing you content that informs and inspires. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Aging isn't about losing touch with the world. It's about refining how you engage with it. It's about choosing peace over obligation, depth over surface-level interactions, and contentment over unnecessary social expectations. It's a time to embrace the life you've built and truly enjoy it on your own terms. When you were younger, you might have felt the need to say yes to every invitation, keep up with social expectations, and always stay busy. But now, you have the liberty to make different choices. You can focus on what genuinely brings you happiness, whether that means spending time alone, cherishing moments with loved ones, or simply appreciating the tranquility that comes with growing older. Take Robert, for example. He spent most of his life as the life of the party, always attending social gatherings and making sure he was present at every event. However, as he aged, he discovered that he found greater peace in solitude than in constant socializing. He began spending more time outdoors, enjoying simple walks, reading books he had neglected for years, and reflecting on what truly made him happy. Instead of pushing himself to visit others just to uphold social norms, he embraced the idea that solitude does not equal loneliness. Rather, it gave him the freedom to manage his time as he pleased. This shift in perspective isn't about isolating yourself. It's about honoring your needs. It's about understanding that the best way to live these years isn't by holding on to old habits, but by embracing what genuinely feels fulfilling, meaningful, and peaceful. Now, let's explore something equally important: the realization that genuine friendships don't require frequent visits to remain strong. One of the most profound insights that comes with aging is that real friendships are not dependent on constant meetups or frequent calls. When you're younger, it might seem like relationships demand continuous upkeep. You call regularly, you visit often, you go out of your way to maintain connections. But as you grow older, you understand that authentic relationships don't diminish simply because you see each other less frequently. Life naturally moves people in different directions. Families expand, responsibilities change, and routines shift. Yet the friendships that truly matter are not based on physical presence alone. They thrive on mutual respect, deep understanding, and an unspoken connection that doesn't require constant reinforcement. Some of the strongest friendships allow you to go weeks, months, or even years without seeing one another. Yet when you reconnect, it feels as if no time has passed. Think about your own friendships. There are likely people in your life whom you don't see as often as you once did. Yet when you do, everything feels just as it always was. You don't need to prove your loyalty through frequent visits, because the bond already exists. Conversely, there may have been friendships in the past where you spent a lot of time visiting, yet deep down, they didn't bring you genuine fulfillment. Consider Eleanor's experience. She used to feel guilty about not visiting people as often as she once did. She worried that if she didn't put in the effort, those relationships would fade. However, she found the opposite to be true. The people who truly valued her never made her feel guilty for not visiting more frequently. They understood that life evolves, and that meaningful friendships are not measured by how often you see each other, but by how you show up for each other when it matters most. This is why so many older adults let go of the pressure to visit others out of obligation. Real friendships don't demand constant presence. They offer comfort, understanding, and a deep connection that stands the test of time. If someone makes you feel guilty for not visiting often enough, perhaps it's worth considering whether that's the kind of friendship you want to maintain. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. Your support enables us to continue creating videos that inform and inspire you. As we conclude, take a moment to reflect on why choosing to visit people less often is not something to feel guilty about. Life evolves, priorities shift, and the way we socialize naturally transforms over time. Whether it's about preserving your energy for meaningful connections, avoiding unnecessary stress, embracing the comfort of home, focusing on quality over quantity in relationships, redefining your personal priorities, or realizing that genuine friendships don't require constant visits, these are all valid and important reasons to be intentional with your time. One of the greatest freedoms that come with aging is the ability to live life on your own terms. You no longer have to conform to expectations, force interactions, or visit people out of obligation. Instead, You can make choices based on what genuinely brings you joy, peace, and fulfillment. That's not being antisocial, it's being deliberate with how you spend your time. And when you do spend time with people, it's because you genuinely want to, not because you feel pressured to. The most important thing to remember is that your worth is not defined by how often you visit others, but by the relationships you nurture in a way that feels right for you. The people who truly matter will understand that friendship and love extend beyond physical presence. By focusing on connections that uplift you, you'll find yourself surrounded by relationships that truly enrich your life. Thank you for being here today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share something you've learned and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts and experiences are valuable to us. Reading your comments provides us with inspiration and motivation to continue creating meaningful content. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support allows us to keep producing content that informs and inspires. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.